So I wanted to talk to you about a few different things today. I have met with a lot of people lately, and it's just kind of getting the same story where they have been told that they just need to get over it, what they're struggling with. They just need to knock it off. They just need to be stronger. They need to be different than what they're doing. And you know, you think about change in life. How often does change actually happen? You know, people want to exercise. They want to be able to do different. They want to do different things in their life, and very often they don't. So the person who wants to exercise and they don't, does anybody ever say, you just need to knock it off, just exercise, because it's that easy, that's that simple? It is definitely a misconception that people can get better just because they want to. And that is definitely a misconception in the world. Another one is that people have uh, people who have mental health issues. It is a physical health issue. It is not something that is just in their head. And so physiologically, when this thing is happening to them, how could you change something just because you wish it to be different? So the misconception is that it is actually something you can change, and very few see it as this physiological issue. The problem that we've noticed is that with this physiological issue, most people, their physiological issue is not with their brain. It's with their heart, or with their elbow, their knee, their nose, their ears, and there's proof, there's evidence that it's a problem. So somebody who is a quadriplegic, if they have a good day, a really positive day, nobody would say, well, why can't you do more of that? Why can't your life be that? Why don't you just start walking? And nobody would say that. It is definitely a misconception of what mental health is. And we really, in our clinic, try to get people to understand the magnitude of this situation. That people use the term mental health. We actually say physical health issues. There's physical health issue that is in their way. And so if you take that component of OCD or anxiety, some type of anxiety, then you actually have to change all of these other approaches that are used in the world to get better, or to get relief. I recently was talking to somebody at my kids' soccer game, and they were telling me how their therapist has given them all these things, like, okay, when they're feeling depressed, they should watch TV at night, because at nighttime is when they seem to have the hardest time with these struggles. And well, how will that is a thing they can do, but will it change what's happening to them in their life? I doubt it. It's just a distraction. They also talked about how they were writing in their journal, and it was a mood journal, and then writing their feelings and their emotions about it. But if you could take this person's brain that I was talking to and put it in a CAT scan, or put a PET scan, give it a PET scan, or even an MRI, you would actually see the physiological changes that are happening, the malfunctions that are occurring. It is not something that we think is happening. It is evidence-based. It's proven that that's what's happening. And so if this person's struggling with depression, you can actually see a slowing in the brain. The slowing of the brain changes what they're experiencing. And so instead of their life just moving forward the way it should move forward, everything is just lagging and struggling. And it's not because they are not good a person. It's not because they're not a good mother. It's not because they're failing. It's not because they're not as good as their neighbor who seems to just get everything done. It is how they start to feel about it. And so when that slowing in their brain is happening with depression, they feel deeply that they are failing, feel that they are falling short. Because, and if you've watched any of my stuff before, I sometimes will say, you don't feel something for nothing, right? Except with behavioral health issues, you feel things all the time that are not true. And so going back to all these different approaches that people will tell you to do, these help books, the therapists, coaches, all of them are in good, with good feeling behind it, with good intentions, but it does not change what's happening in their brain. So what use will writing in a mood journal do when my brain is not moving the way it's supposed to move? Is no different, again, than go to the person who has an enlarged heart 3 times bigger than it's supposed to be and having them do a mood journal and expecting that will change the functionality of their heart. It's not how it works. And it actually perpetuates this idea that this is what you do. It perpetuates in society that you have a choice. And man, how wonderful if it was just that simple. If it was, you wouldn't have mental health, because who wants anxiety? Who wants obsessional thinking? Who wants to have to avoid things in their life and not live the life that they want to? The attention they can get from that, it's short-lived. And very quickly, they are going to be bored. What they get from the attention they get is not worth feeling this way. Like, oh, I'm going to sit on a couch. I'm going to be in a bathroom. I'm going to be locked in my house days on end because I'm so terrified of something that might have happened. For what? Oh, yes, my mom showed me compassion. That minute of compassion was worth giving up my whole week of pain and fear and worry and concern. It isn't. Another thing that we've noticed is that life is not, to really deal with things, it's about facing them. It's about doing something. And so if you come to our clinic, you'll see that we're action therapists, or some will say behavioral therapists. It's about changing what you do. Like, so if I want to lose weight, my good intentions isn't going to happen. My writing in a journal isn't going to help me lose weight. Me giving 2 positives for a negative, having a positive attitude, will not make me lose weight. I actually have to do something. If I want different, I have to do different. And until I do different, why would I expect anything to be different? And so as you do something, you can feel that change. And so what we do have to deal with here is that, okay, change takes effort. Change takes doing different. Change means you have to reinvent what you do in your day, in your life. It might be surprising. So about 6 years ago, I was at my heaviest weight. My wife, I think as well, she had 5 children actually, and I don't know, we were no longer in our 20s where we just lost weight, where we'd eat whatever we wanted to eat and just snuck on us. And all of a sudden, I'm at my heaviest weight. And my wife and I decided to do something different about it. We actually started using an app called MyFitnessPal, and we logged in every day, and we did our exercise, and we log it in, and everything we put in our mouth, we made a commitment for 1 year. Anything that goes in our mouth, even if it's 1 M&M, 1 kernel of popcorn, we will put that caloric amount into this app, which is super helpful because it gives you ideas of what it should be. And so there was no surprise. And so, but here's the thing is that I think why we were so successful, I ended up losing 67 pounds, and my wife lost probably 40 to 45 pounds. And it was a mathematical equation. Hey, if you eat this much and you burn this much, you lose weight. But here's the thing is, okay, so mathematical equation doesn't increase motivation. How do you get to do this thing you know you're supposed to do? And that's what we do in our office is working on, okay, if you don't know what you're going to do, you're likely not going to do it. If you don't know when you're going to do it, you're likely not going to do it. If you don't know how or have the means to do it, then you're not going to do it. Do you know where you're going to go to do it? And those things, we actually fell into doing them. And so I decided I'm going to exercise in the morning, and it's going to be the exact same time in the morning because of all these other reasons that would get in the way of me actually following through with doing the exercise. I realized in the morning, I'm not used to doing this. I don't want to do it. And so I would actually put my shoes out. I'd put my headphones out. I put my socks out, my headband out, which is an amazing headband. And I did it. So I didn't have to take some time trying to get it all ready. And I did it. And then I bought the food. And I got rid of all the other food. And I had to do something to change my environment. I couldn't have all the temptations in there. And so I made these changes. And the results were phenomenal. What I've realized through it is that diets, it doesn't matter what you do. You could do keto, you can do Atkins, you can do Jenny Craig's, whatever it is. All of them are good. They have their good points, but it all still comes to that equation. You got to do something. You have to actually eat less and burn more. And in anxiety work and in OCD work, you cannot expect that anything will change if you do exactly what you've always been doing. And so, go out into the world. The self-help books, they'll give you good ideas, but you got to do it. And so, do you need, in our facility, we really encourage family support. Is there somebody who you can do the work with, that you can do exposure and response prevention with, somebody who holds you accountable? Because that's the other thing that I've noticed in life is that at the end of the day, when you have a responsibility to yourself, the consequences are what? Oh, shucks, golly darn, I feel terrible. Oh, I said I was going to exercise and I didn't. Oh, I said I was going to do some exposures and I didn't. I said I was going to leave my house. I was going to push myself and I didn't. And feeling bad about it is as far as it has to go, or usually goes. But isn't it interesting in life? Life actually holds us accountable. You don't go pay your mortgage, they take your house. You go too fast down the street, they give you a ticket. You don't pay for your groceries in the grocery store, they arrest you. Life holds you accountable. Where do we hold ourselves accountable other than I feel terrible? Oh, I'm going to smear myself and I feel like a bad person. Man, if every time I didn't pay my mortgage and I went to the bank people said, hey, here's your fine, that you got to pay this extra mortgage payment. And I just started feeling terrible. I said, I'm an idiot. I'm such a loser. I'm such a terrible person. And then the bank people say, oh, I feel so bad for you. Don't worry about it. We'll catch you up next time. If that was all that ever got to happen, I'd never do anything. Why would I pay my mortgage? I mean, mortgages are expensive, and man, I could do with that extra money. And man, then maybe the next month when I'm supposed to pay it, I react exactly the same. I feel terrible. I beat the snot out of myself. And what? I expect for them to just let it off. They don't. So why do we let ourselves off? What if we don't let ourselves off? What if we hold ourselves accountable to what we're supposed to do? Because at the end of the day, if we lose the weight, we're going to be super excited that we lost it. If I don't have to have a high level of baseline of distress, and I can be down low, which means I can enjoy life and hear the birds singing and smell the flowers. And why wouldn't I do it? It goes back to that motivation. And so what I challenge you today is look at what can you do? What are you going to do different? When are you going to do it? Stop pretending that you have more control over your life than you do. Pretend that if you watch TV at night and think that, well, I'm going to have the motivation to exercise in place of watching TV. Are you? Are you sure? I don't think so. I think that you have to literally position your life in a way to make these things work. You don't try to fit in treatment into your life. Your life is treatment. And in fact, I'll actually retract a little bit of what I said just a moment ago. Any diet will work. Actually, I don't believe in diets. Any process you use can work, but it shouldn't ever be considered a diet. It's something that you do. It becomes part of your life. And that's what we try to teach our clients that come through our building is that this is much like diabetes. Every single day you have diabetes. Just because you had a good day doesn't mean you don't have diabetes, but you have it. And if family comes in on the weekend, what are you going to do? Are you going to not take your insulin? What's going to happen if you don't? Well, physiologically, if it's actually diabetes, you're going to have really bad results. With OCD, with anxiety, well, you're just going to hate yourself more. You're just going to miss more in your life. You're just going to suffer more. And you know how to suffer. You've been suffering for years, right? So what would make that any different now? And I say, man, life is too short to lose any more of it. So you make this your life. You do what you're supposed to do, and what you're supposed to do is fit this in your life. Take your medication. Can you really expect to not have anxiety and not exercise at all during a week? Do you feel like to have control over your anxiety or your OCD, that you didn't socialize, that you didn't do any talents and hobbies, that you didn't do anything for yourself? How would you expect that if you didn't spend even one moment doing exposure and response prevention? How would you expect, or doing exposures, how would you expect to feel any different? And so it's what you do. I've got a buddy who has diabetes, and he has, he's been a great example to me. But even as him being a great example, it doesn't change the fact that he has diabetes. He has this thing that every single time he's about to eat something, he catalogs into his little pump some equation, I don't know exactly what it is, and it tells him how many units of Humalog or insulin he's supposed to take. And when he does that, man, his day gets to be awesome. It gets to be amazing, much better than it would be if he didn't do it. And so look at it as that way. So if you can have one takeaway or a couple of takeaways from today, you got to treat this so much more seriously. Treat it as though this is actually the most important thing that could happen in your life, because it actually is. I can't imagine anything being more important, because, hey, I can go to church, but if I can't enjoy it, what does it matter? If I can have a family, but if I can't enjoy it, what does it matter? If I can't get a job, I can't enjoy life, then what does it matter? Like, this is the most important, because once you have this in check, everything else starts falling into place. And so I appreciate talking to you guys, and I'm going to take a few minutes and answer any questions that you have. I would have been a little bit more prepared for this, but our system was down. So if you have any questions, I'd love to answer any of them right now. And so let's see if I can get these questions going. So first question is, let's see, they're wondering how do you convince other people to, what does it say, convince other people that this is more than just or mental health. And what I would say is that talk to them. think about how often you actually share what's happening to you. How many times do you share that this thought that I've had has literally come into my brain more than 1,000 times today? Have you said that to somebody? Have you told them that, hey, my baseline is distress? So using that scale 0 to 10, 10 being the highest level of distress, 0 not having any at all, I'm a 6 all day long, and it doesn't stop. And it shoots up to a 7, an 8, a 9, a 12 out of 10, like 50 times a day. And, if that's the case, like, what, would they even know that that's happening? Other than more times than not, people focus on the behavior. They see that, oh, that person's not leaving the house, oh, the person's not doing this, they're avoiding that. They're not focusing on the fact that there's actually this physiological issue happening that is the actual problem, and all these behaviors that you see happening as a result of that feeling.